I used to think that if I suck a dick well enough, it would make up for the fact that I couldn't pronounce Žižek. Hi, my name is Shenlan. I created this channel to document my thoughts, and I hope it relates. At 22, I didn't have the words for it, but I was caught in a trade. I was using my body as erotic capital to buy the status I thought I lacked. I was a girl from small town China trying to perform class for a Western-raised man with a PhD. And in the process, I almost erased myself. I've been listening to Half His Age recently, hearing Waldo's experience with Mr. Corgi. It felt like a mirror of my life at 22. Back then, I was a year out of college in Chengdu. I was from Ziyang, a small town nearby. I speak Sichuan dialect. I major in English. Then I met him. 33, Asian American, a PhD, assistant professor in cinema studies. Both me and Waldo thought our peers were immature. We wanted that deep fix. In the book, Jeanette describes sex with the Pierre as visceral but dry, no passion, pure performance. I was in a similar boat. I was in a boring relationship with no sparkle. I nitpicked my boyfriend's every trait just to find an excuse to leave. Then came the 33 years old. I thought I found my spark in him. But it wasn't just the man that changed. It was how I saw myself. Looking back, I realized that I started seeing my age as two things. First, a tool to attract. That's my erotic capital. And second, a liability. That's my lack of cultural capital. I'm borrowing those terms from Pierre, Bourdieu, and Hakim to name what I was unconsciously doing. Bourdieu says cultural capital is what gives you social mobility. Your accent, your taste, your degrees. At 22, I believe I had 0. He had the PhD. I didn't. He was westernized. I wasn't. I measured everything in Western terms and erased my own heritage. I felt like a blank slate. When I was with him, I was always falling behind because English wasn't my native language. I had an accent when I speak English with him. I mispronounced words. My grammar was always incorrect, and I didn't get the cultural reference. I remember our first date at a Mexican restaurant. I'd never been to one. I ordered a mojito, but there I said, 莫吉托. I felt like a clown. I tried to talk about Žižek, but I would say Zizek because I didn't know the background. Every mispronunciation felt like exposure. Every gap in knowledge confirmed I was behind. The relationship was never equal, not because of him explicitly said so, but because I believe I was inferior. Since I couldn't perform knowledge, I performed desire. In the book, Waldo played dress-up for her dates. She fills her room with trash from her online shopping cart, items that cannot change how she was raised. For me, the costume was the underlayer. I meticulously matched my underwear to present a version of myself. Grey Calvin Kleins for sporty, red lace for sexual, 12 yuan stockings from Taobao for that French movie fantasy. The whole outfit cost less than 200 yuan. The persona was feeble. Anyone looking closely could see I was pretending. But just like Waldo, I felt if I added one more lipstick to my chart, I would finally look well-traveled, well-educated, like I came from a family that matched his. I thought I could purchase upbringings. I maximized the only thing I thought I had, my young body. I believe the only way to keep him was through overcompensated, irrational sex. I thought if I sucked his dick better or worn the right lingerie, he would eventually be with me as a real couple. But the funny thing is, I could never fall asleep at his place. Every time we had sex, my head went into sympathy mode for myself. I felt like a call girl, using my body for what I didn't have. I felt dirty, tainted, inadequate. I was on call 24/7 whenever he wanted it. I'd take a taxi to his place, disregarding whatever I was doing, work, family, friends, none of those matters. In the beginning, he'd pick me up downstairs from his apartment, but later he stopped. He asked me to just ring the doorbell and come up. He was afraid his colleague would see him with a young woman. Yet I fulfilled every request. My self-esteem was at zero. I was compensating for my lack of degree with my skin and my performance and my young body. The only control I had was his pleasure. In the book, Waldo's life is disposable. If the teacher calls, everything else collapses. That was me. Even during Chinese New Year, nothing matters if he texts. I would just squeeze my time for him. I pushed back my family and my job because I thought his time was more important than mine. I act as if my life didn't start until he arrived. I believed I was behind. I performed class. I traded my body. I reorganized my time. When someone controls your time, they control your life. That was the real hierarchy, and I built it myself. My story doesn't really have a revenge, grow of age, whatever ending that everyone wants. Me and him never had a proper goodbye. COVID happened. He went back to America. For a long time, he'd call me in the middle of the night, drunk or high, telling me he missed me. He'd promised me a life in America and then disappear for months. My hope was broken and rebuilt every time he got in touch, until time finally healed it. Now I live in Europe. I've spent a long time building my cultural and language confidence. I have a husband who is compassionate. He never mocks my pronunciation. He never makes me feel inferior. I can finally look back and pat my younger self on the back. I can tell her that the anxiety would pass. She is not less than. I suppose why I want to make this video is I want to tell people that your background and your heritage, they're important, but they're just a fracture of life. And I want to tell my 22-year-old self that the world is so much bigger than that man's apartment.